The heated debate of I hate it, I love it, the more I see it, I love it, the more I see it, I hate it. Why did they do this? I don't like the choice of Commander Class Rodimus Prime within the Transformers world continues. And another extra stick has been added to the fire in that of some new photos that we have recently seen this morning from Takara-Tomy and their website. They updated their website for the Commander Class KD-12 Rodimus Convoy Commander Kingdom, and a new image was provided showing him with the Matrix of Leadership. And it created a whole bunch of debates just from this one single image. The first thing being that there's a possibility that the included Matrix accessory that was put on the 10 accessory parts is going to be a blast effect itself. Some people are speculating that the Matrix of Leadership is a one-piece molded clear effect part, and that the image we're seeing here is all one piece. The Matrix is all clear blue, and the effect part on top of it is molded onto the Matrix, and that's that. Number two, people are complaining that the Matrix is too small. That it's this new trend of what's called the pinch matrices, where the Matrix is a small accessory that usually is meant to fit in the chest, and as a result, the character that holds it would have to pretty much pinch it with its little index fingers instead of holding it fully like, the light our darkest hour kind of situation has been done in the past. And you know what, to be fair, the animation model and scale of the original Matrix of Leadership has been all over the place. When we're first introduced to it, it fits inside a small area of Optimus Prime's hand, and then when he takes it out of his chest, it fits inside the palm of his hand. When he drops it, it's all of a sudden much larger. And then, of course, by the time we get to Ultra Magnus holding it and trying to open it, it's massive. And then by the time Galvatron's holding it in his hand after Ultra Magnus gets killed, spoiler, well, temporarily killed, all of a sudden it fits in his hand again. It's all over the place. And, the final famous scene, which we're all referencing with this toy here, the light our darkest hour, it's large again. And we saw in the past with the MP09 Rodimus Prime, specifically the Western import of it, the Western release, not the Japanese MP09. The Western release came with the small Matrix that actually fits in his chest that would have looked silly in his hands, but it also included a repaint remold of the larger Matrix that came with MP01 Optimus, so you could actually hold your Matrix of Leadership and open it up and everything like that. So they gave you options there. So what I'm thinking, just maybe that maybe this Matrix we're seeing here is indeed part of those 10 effect parts, and we have an actual Matrix of Leadership that will be included also. It's not the first time a Rodimus toy that's been a high price point has come with two Matrixes. This could be a case too. But what's leading to another argument now is as people are continuing, they're starting to notice from this angle that maybe the chest actually doesn't open up to store any kind of Matrix. So it then leads more to the argument that maybe it doesn't come with the traditional Matrix, and what we're seeing here is the actual Matrix, and it's just this little effect part that was never meant to go in a chest, especially because of how elaborate this translucent plastic is and how large it is. Again, it's creating all kinds of arguments. I always feel there's always a section of the fandom that the moment they don't like something, they don't just kind of move on from it and go to the next thing. They really just want to find every flaw and go, see, this is why this sucks. And I'm not attacking them. Look, you're all allowed your own opinion, but I find that happens quite a bit. Again, I'm not a fan personally of how this Matrix looks, especially if it is going to be a one molded piece of clear plastic. But I'm also quite lucky that I have tons of Matrix accessories myself. So I think I'll be just fine. I know I have that Western Rodimus. I know I have definitely probably a few extra Matrixes of Leadership that he could hold. It is a shame. I mean, considering that he has there's newer photos that are surfacing too of people zooming in. The figure is going to have very articulated fingers. So he'll be able to do the pose, this is the end of the road Galvatron with a, pointing finger, and have, those super articulated fingers, but not be able to hold a matrix of leadership and do it properly because it's so small. That is kind of a shame, combined with the fact that the chest doesn't open. I mean, I feel that there probably is the space there to do that. They just didn't decide to do the engineering. Also, people are noticing that with the transformation, there is some fossilizer plug holes on the side of the robot mode, specifically just behind the chest, but before the spoiler area. So the gimmick for fossilizers and stuff still could be plugged in, and people are saying it makes it look kind of ugly. But again, I'll see it when I have it in person. But it is an interesting take, and we do get to see it from a different angle, and it gives us an idea of how more this figure is going to look. Now, when it comes to price, and we've discussed this already yesterday, but I'm just going to talk about it today because some people are confused. So the pre-orders started today in Japan. They're going to be shipping out August 2021 in Japan. The pre-order price is 14,300 yen. When you do currency exchange with American dollars, that comes to $131 with some change. I would not expect people to go about pre-ordering it the Japanese route. Japanese usually pay quite a bit more for their Transformer product. In this case, I mean, I'm not 100% certain how taxes are in every state, but you're pretty much paying, after taxes and everything, almost a $50 premium to get the Japanese version. What's the difference? Absolutely nothing. We're in a different world today where the Japanese versions of Siege, Earthrise, and now Kingdom toys have no differences outside of one or two outliers, but it has not historically been the case with the Commander class, with Jetfire and Skylynx. So it's one of these things that I would personally suggest do not pre-order from this source. It's kind of silly. You just be overpaying to have it flown in from the other side of the globe. He will be showing up in retail. He will be easier to get, and Amazon and everything. And he will be way more affordable than this. So do not go about it the Japanese route. And again, the Japanese price here is not a reflection of what the Western American Hasbro price will be. We don't have an announcement date for when this will start hitting retail in the Western world, but we never really had concrete announcement dates, and every location is different. All we could hope for pretty much is when it shows up on Amazon and Hasbro Pulse and a lot of different websites like that, and that'll be more consistent. But again, that's it more or less. Again, the Matrix, kind of a shame. I want to see more of those blast accessories. I really want to see just everything we're getting with this character, and I feel that maybe Takara is just slowly dripping out images just to keep the audience interested, because this is their big price point product outside of the arc that we'll probably see later this year too. But they're slowly putting out images to keep people excited, and maybe also to extend the excitement for that pre-order, where people who've pre-ordered day one would have done it anyways, and then people who, will get excited more as the pre-order days continue with new images. But this is pretty cool. Kind of wish the Matrix was bigger, but I mean, I'll figure something else out. I just wish that we could have had that opening Matrix chest too. That would have been cool. But we'll see more as time progresses. And the way that I see it, at the end of the day, as crazy as this sounds, this isn't our Studio Series 86 Rodimus Prime. This is a Commander class for the Kingdom thing. And I feel that maybe in a year or 2 years from now, when there's some distance away from this Kingdom Commander class release, we'll get a Studio Series 86 Rodimus Prime. And it'll be slightly different. It'll have little tweaks, little tools here and there. But hopefully it'll satisfy people that are looking for something, in that case, of display.